Focus on yourself, not others. This will change your life. You know what I learned the hard way? The moment you start focusing on yourself instead of watching everybody else, your entire life shifts. Most people waste their energy comparing, competing, and counting what someone else has. They don't even realize they're starving their own growth while feeding someone else's spotlight. And just Lupus, to me, every minute you spend watching another person's success is a minute you steal from your own. I'm telling you this because I lived it. There were times I looked around and felt like everyone was moving faster, getting further, hitting milestones I hadn't even reached yet, and that feeling, it'll eat you alive if you let it. But here's the truth. Comparison is the enemy of progress. The second I stopped chasing what other people had and started investing in what I could build, things changed. Not overnight, but day by day, brick by brick, decision by decision. When you focus on you, you get your power back. People lose themselves trying to keep up. They measure their success with someone else's ruler, and then wonder why they always feel behind. You're not behind, you're on your path. Your timeline isn't meant to look like you don't know their struggles, their sacrifices, their heartbreaks. You only see the part they allow the world to clap for. But your journey, that's yours. That's real. And when you honor it, and when you pour into it, you grow in ways comparison could never give you. Focusing on yourself means learning to be quiet in the noise. Everyone has advice. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone thinks they know what you should be doing when you should do it and how, but they don't have to live with your decisions. You do. They don't carry your dream. You do. They don't feel your purpose burning inside you. You do. So why give their voices more weight than your own? Why let their expectations become your limitations? When you focus on yourself, you start realizing what actually matters. You see where the purpose, you see where you've been wasting time, where you've been holding back, where you've been playing small to make others comfortable. And you start catching those little sabotaging moments, scrolling too long, doubting too much, hesitating when you should move, and judging yourself by someone else's highlight reel. And you replace those habits with discipline, with intention, with belief. That's the shift. That's when you begin to rise. Because here's what people forget: your greatest competition is the version of you from yesterday. Not your friend, not your coworker, not some stranger online. You. And as long as you focused on becoming better than who you were, you will win every single day. You'll win in silence. You'll win in progress. When you stop watching others, you hear yourself more clearly. Your ideas get louder. Your goals get sharper. Your confidence grows because it's finally built on your own effort, not someone else's applause. And that's when life starts to open doors you never thought you deserved. Not because someone handed them to you, but because you earned them by focusing on your lane. So ask yourself right now, are you investing in your growth? Or are you draining it by fixing your eyes on us' path? Are you building your future, or are you distracting yourself from it? You deserve a life that reflects your potential, not your fear, not your insecurity, not your comparisons. And you can have that life the moment you commit to pouring your energy back into you. Focus on yourself. Grow for yourself. Move for yourself. Everything you're chasing will come from the person you become, never from the people you watch. Comparison steals your power. Focusing on yourself allows you to reclaim it and grow. Most people don't realize how much of their energy is wasted measuring their lives against others. They scroll through social media, peek at someone else's achievements, and immediately begin the process of self-judgment. They see the highlight reels and forget that behind every success there's a story of struggle, sacrifice, and countless unseen efforts. Every moment you spend comparing yourself to someone else is a moment you take away from building your own path. You can't grow while living in someone else's shadow. The power to change your life, to move toward your goals, and that is in the purpose of the purpose is always inside of you. But it only surfaces when you stop looking outward and start looking inward. Comparison clouds your judgment. It makes you question your decisions, doubt your progress, and undervalue your own strengths. You begin to chase what others have instead of creating what you're meant to have. You start taking shortcuts, trying to mimic someone else's journey, and in doing so, you dilute your potential. The truth is, there is no one path to success, and trying to fit your life into someone else's blueprint will never bring fulfillment. Focusing on yourself, on your unique strengths and vision is where true power lies. That's where clarity comes from, and clarity is the fuel for action. When you turn your attention inward, you start to notice the patterns that have held you back. You see the habits that drain your energy, the fears that limit your choices, and the excuses you've been repeating to justify staying in your comfort zone. Once you identify these patterns, you gain control. You can choose differently. You can act differently. You can grow differently. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It's strategic. It's the deliberate act of investing your time, energy, and resources into the person who will ultimately determine your future, yourself. A growth happens in silence, away from the noise of comparison. It happens in the consistency of daily choices, in the small wins that nobody sees, and in the discipline that keeps you moving when motivation fades. Every time you redirect your energy from someone else to yourself, you strengthen your focus, your resilience, and your confidence. You start setting goals that align with your vision, not someone else's expectation. You begin to create benchmarks that reflect your progress, not the progress of your peers. And the more you do this, the more you realize that your journey is entirely your own. And that's a powerful as the collections realizations. It removes distractions that have been holding you back. Focusing on yourself also allows you to reclaim your mental and emotional power. Comparison breeds envy, resentment, and frustration, emotions that weaken your resolve and cloud your perspective. When you stop comparing, you free yourself from these negative emotions. You start appreciating your achievements, however small, and you learn to measure success on your own terms. Your confidence grows because it is built on self-awareness, self-discipline, and personal accomplishment, not on external validation. The power you reclaim is the power to make decisions that move you closer to your goals, to take risks that align with your vision, and to live a life that reflects your true potential. Ultimately, the act of focusing on yourself creates momentum. Momentum builds when you invest consistently in your growth, your skills, and your vision. Each day becomes an opportunity to get better than you were yesterday, to learn something new, and to make choices that align with your long-term goals. You stop being distracted by what others are doing and start being energized by what you are creating. You become intentional in your actions, and strategic in your planning, and relentless in your pursuit of excellence. The more you focus on yourself, the more unstoppable you become, because your energy, attention, and effort are finally directed toward the person who has the power to shape your future. Your only true competition is the person you were yesterday, not anyone else. Most people spend their lives looking outward, measuring themselves against peers, colleagues, friends, or strangers on social media. They think success is a race against everyone else, but that mindset is a trap. When you compete with others, you lose sight of your own growth, your own potential, and your own unique journey. True progress comes when you turn your attention inward, when you measure yourself against the person you were yesterday, and when you focus on being better, stronger, and wiser than you were the day before. The problem with external comparison is that it's based on incomplete information. You see someone's accomplishments, their victories, their polished outcomes, but you don't see their struggles, the failures they endured, or the sacrifices they made to get there. And when you judge yourself against that incomplete picture, you underestimate your own progress and overestimate theirs. This creates unnecessary pressure, frustration, and doubt. Your energy gets diverted into trying to match someone else's path instead of advancing your own. Competing with yourself, however, is grounded in reality. It's measurable, actionable, and empowering, because the only standard is the progress you've made from where you started. When you focus on being better than the person you were yesterday, every choice becomes meaningful. Waking up earlier, learning something new, improving a skill, or taking a small step toward a goal, all these actions accumulate. They may seem insignificant at the moment, but over time, these incremental improvements create momentum. Competing with yourself turns ordinary habits into extraordinary growth. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, because you're no longer trying to take what someone else has, if you just for the purpose of you're building what only you can create. You become invested in your own story, not distracted by the chapters of someone else's life. Self-competition also develops resilience. When your benchmark is yesterday's you, failure becomes feedback instead of judgment. Setbacks are lessons rather than comparisons. You begin to see each challenge as an opportunity to improve, each mistake as a chance to grow, and each difficulty as a chance to strengthen your character. This mindset cultivates patience, because real progress takes time. It teaches you discipline, because improvement is a daily practice, not a one-time event. And it nurtures humility, because you understand that growth is a continuous journey, not a destination. Competing with yourself sharpens focus. Instead of chasing validation or approval, you align your actions with your long-term vision. You prioritize what matters, eliminate distractions, and invest your energy where it has the most impact, you start setting realistic goals based on your capabilities and aspirations, not someone else's. Your standards rise because you're accountable to yourself, not to the opinions or achievements of others. This accountability is powerful because it keeps you moving consistently even when external recognition is absent. Your motivation becomes intrinsic, fueled by the desire to surpass your own limits and fulfill your potential. When you adopt this mindset, you realize that life is not a competition against others, it's a personal evolution. Every day is an opportunity to improve, to learn, and to take one more step forward. You measure your success by growth, effort, and consistency rather than by comparison or envy. And the beauty of competing with yourself is that it's sustainable. It doesn't lead to burnout, bitterness, or distraction. It leads to mastery, fulfillment, and a sense of achievement that is authentic because it comes from your own progress. Ultimately, when you focus on being better than you were yesterday, you take control of your life. You stop being defined by others' achievements and start defining your own path. You cultivate confidence that is grounded in self-improvement rather than approval. You gain clarity, purpose, and momentum because your energy is spent building yourself, not chasing someone else's shadow. Competing with yourself is the only competition that truly matters, and it's the one that will shape your future in ways comparison never could.